At the bottom of the world lies a land unlike any other, Antarctica. It is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent on Earth. A place where temperatures plunge below -60 degrees Celsius. Storms rise with the force of hurricanes, and the sun itself vanishes for months into endless night. Here, glaciers stretch beyond the horizon, sculpting a frozen desert where silence is broken only by the roar of the wind and the cracking of shifting ice. This is a realm so hostile that almost no life dares to endure its extremes. And yet, within this frozen emptiness, there walks a king, cloaked in black and white plumage, standing tall against the storm. The emperor penguin emerges as a symbol of resilience. While whales, seals, and birds migrate north to escape the cold, the emperor penguin alone chooses to remain. It is the only species to brave the Antarctic winter, not to flee it, but to embrace it. For within the darkness of this frozen desert, life itself begins anew. When the continent is at its most unforgiving, when blizzards sweep across the ice and the sea is sealed in a fortress of frozen waves, emperor penguins gather. Thousands of them march inland across the ice, their bodies swaying, their voices rising in a chorus that echoes across the white expanse. Each step they take defies the continent's cruelty. Each step carries them toward the future of their kind. To see an emperor penguin standing in the heart of Antarctica is to witness one of nature's most extraordinary paradoxes. Life not only surviving, but thriving in the very place where survival seems impossible. This is not just a bird enduring winter. This is the ruler of the ice continent, sovereign of survival, crowned not in gold, but in frost and endurance. As we step into this journey, we follow the emperor penguin into its fortress of ice to uncover the trials, the triumphs, and the secrets that allow it to reign in the harshest kingdom on Earth. The ice of Antarctica is not a place of comfort, but a frontier where survival is measured step by step. For the emperor penguin, every movement across the frozen continent is a test of endurance. Unlike the creatures of the sea that slip beneath the ice, or the birds that take to the air, these penguins must walk. Their journey spans miles across a wilderness where blizzards howl and the ground itself shifts beneath their feet. Yet, they press forward, their black and white forms weaving a path across the endless plain. They march in unison, a procession of determination, their bodies swaying, their feet carving deep impressions into the snow. To watch them is to witness the rhythm of survival, each step conserving precious energy, each slide across the ice an ingenious way to travel farther with less effort. They toboggan on their bellies, pushing forward with flippers, gliding across the frozen surface in swift bursts, leaving trails like signatures across the white expanse. But their journey is not aimless. It leads to the breeding grounds, places chosen with ancient precision, where thousands gather to continue the cycle of life. These gathering sites, stark and exposed, are carved by instinct into the heart of the continent. Here the penguins find strength in numbers, their colonies stretching across the ice in a spectacle unmatched anywhere else on Earth. Life on the edge is unforgiving. Winds scream without warning, temperatures plunge to lethal depths, and cracks open suddenly in the ice beneath their feet. The emperor penguin endures it all with quiet resilience. Their tight-knit formations protect them. Their shared movements shield one another from the storm. Together, they transform Antarctica's vast emptiness into a living, breathing community. In this land of extremes, the emperor penguin does not merely survive. It thrives through unity, perseverance, and the instinctive wisdom of generations. To follow their march across the ice is to follow a story older than time, a story of life that persists against the continent's merciless edge. In Antarctica, survival is not a daily struggle, but a cycle written in the rhythm of seasons. For the emperor penguin, this cycle begins with a march into the heart of winter. As the sun vanishes and temperatures fall to deadly lows, the colony gathers on the ice. Here, in the most unforgiving months of the year, the story of life begins. The ritual is timeless. Females lay a single precious egg, then transfer it with delicate care to their mates. Balanced carefully on the father's feet, covered by a fold of warm skin, the egg becomes a fragile treasure in a land where nothing else can endure. With the female gone to the sea for weeks in search of food, the male becomes guardian. For months, he will stand, unfed and unmoving, his body shrinking but his resolve unbroken, as blizzards batter the colony and the long polar night surrounds them. In the dark, they endure together. Thousands of males huddle shoulder to shoulder, forming a living wall against the wind. Those on the outside slowly rotate inward, sharing warmth and sacrifice. Within this circle, life waits, hidden inside fragile shells, resting on steady feet. The patience of the emperor penguin is unmatched, a devotion measured not in hours or days, but in endless nights. Then, at last, the mothers return, fat with fish and krill from the southern seas. They call across the ice until their voices reach their mates. The reunions are scenes of recognition and relief, as the egg or the tiny chick newly hatched is passed into the care of the female. For the fathers, it is the end of their vigil. For the mothers, it is the beginning of nurture. The cycle continues, a rhythm of endurance and trust, of sacrifice and renewal. This is the essence of survival in Antarctica. Not speed, not strength, but patience. The emperor penguin thrives not by defying the continent, but by yielding to its harsh rhythm, aligning life itself with the frozen pulse of the ice. Each egg carried on a father's feet is not just a beginning. It is the promise of a future carved into the heart of the coldest place on Earth. Beneath the frozen skies of Antarctica, where survival is always uncertain, the most fragile lives emerge. From the dark warmth of brood pouches, emperor penguin chicks appear, tiny, gray, and trembling against the white vastness. Blind to the storm, helpless against the cold, they depend entirely on their parents' devotion. Every peep is a call for warmth. Every stumble, a test against the elements. The bond between parent and chick is a story of sacrifice. Mothers return from the sea, their bellies full of fish and krill gathered during long journeys through freezing waters. With a gentle touch, they feed their young directly from their beaks, passing life one meal at a time. Fathers, weakened from months of fasting, step aside but remain vigilant, shielding the chicks from icy gusts and circling predators. Together, both parents share the burden of survival, alternating between feeding and protection. For the chicks, play and learning are the beginning of strength. They wobble across the snow, wings outstretched like clumsy sails, chasing shadows or pecking curiously at the ice. Each moment of play sharpens muscles and balance, training for the hunts and migrations that await in adulthood. Yet every misstep carries danger: exposure to the cold, sudden blizzards, or the sharp eyes of scavenging skuas circling above. A chick left unguarded may vanish in a heartbeat. Still, resilience grows. Beneath the watchful gaze of their parents, the chicks form small groups, gathering warmth and safety together. Their soft calls blend into the chorus of the colony, a sound that carries across the endless plain like a heartbeat of new life. Day by day, feather by feather, they grow stronger, their gray down slowly giving way to the sleek coat of survival. Nurturing the future on this frozen continent is a battle fought with patience, endurance, and love. In every chick that survives, the legacy of the emperor penguin continues. Fragile lives transformed into the next rulers of ice. And in this, Antarctica itself reveals its paradox. Even in the harshest place on Earth, life finds a way to rise, stumble, and stand tall. Life on the ice is never secure. For emperor penguins, survival is not only about endurance, but about navigating a landscape of constant threats. Antarctica is a kingdom of predators and storms, and every chick, every adult, must face dangers that arrive without warning. Above the colony, skuas circle like shadows against the pale sky. These scavenging birds are relentless, swooping low to snatch vulnerable emperor penguin chicks left exposed. A single lapse in vigilance can mean the difference between life and loss. The colony's cries rise in alarm, a chorus that echoes across the plain, as parents rush to shield their young beneath protective bodies. In the sea, another danger lurks, the leopard seal. Sleek and powerful, it patrols beneath the ice edges where penguins dive for food. Its speed is lethal, its jaws precise. For every adult returning with a belly full of fish, the ocean crossing is a gamble. Many dive in, but not all return. The sea that sustains life also takes it. And then there are the forces of the continent itself. Blizzards roar across the flats, burying paths and erasing sight. Winds exceeding hurricane force drive walls of snow that can overwhelm even the strongest adult. Chicks caught outside shelter may freeze within minutes. Cracks open suddenly in the ice, splitting colonies, stranding parents from their young. In Antarctica, the ground itself is never truly safe. Yet the emperor penguin does not yield. Instinct and unity are its defense. Adults cluster tighter, forming shields against the storm. They call loudly when danger strikes, a symphony of defiance carried on the wind. Even in the face of predators and chaos, they endure. It is in this struggle, in the shadow of peril, that their resilience shines brightest. For the emperor penguin, every day is a test written in snow, ice, and storm. To survive the perils of the ice is to earn another sunrise, another chance for the next generation to grow. And in this cycle of risk and survival, the true power of the Antarctic ruler is revealed. The strength to stand firm in a land that seeks to break them. As the Antarctic sun begins its slow return, the ice continent reveals a new generation ready to step into the frozen world. The emperor penguin chicks, once fragile and gray, now stand taller, their down replaced by sleek feathers built for the sea. What began in silence and struggle has grown into strength, preparing them for the greatest journey of their lives. The colony hums with restless energy. Chicks gather in groups, testing their wings against the wind, practicing short runs across the snow. Parents continue to guard and guide, but the bond of dependence begins to loosen. The time of protection gives way to the time of independence. Soon, the young will leave the safety of the huddle and face the ocean that waits beyond the horizon. The sea, once a distant mystery, becomes their destiny. Waves crash against the frozen shore, calling them forward. For the emperor penguin, the ocean is both peril and promise, a realm of predators and storms, but also of food and freedom. The leap from ice to water is not only a moment of instinct, but of legacy, as each chick transforms into a swimmer, carrying the story of its kind into the depths. And so, the cycle continues. Parents who sacrificed through the long winter pass their strength into the next generation. Chicks who survived blizzards, hunger, and predators now embody resilience itself. They are heirs to a lineage that has endured Antarctica's merciless extremes for millennia. The ice has tested them, and they remain. As the young emperor penguins dive into the sea for the first time, the colony's song lingers across the frozen plain, a chorus of triumph carried by the wind. Here, at the edge of the world, survival is not a fleeting victory, but a legacy written in ice and endurance. The rulers of Antarctica march on, generation after generation, proving that even in the harshest place on Earth, life finds its throne.